There's something pretty exciting coming up, and it's been a boring start to the season as far as weather. Really cool, just a couple days ago, you in October, or yesterday, you in Michigan started your bow season opener, my home state. Pennsylvania's here in a couple days, tomorrow I think, or Saturday, whenever. But bottom line is a lot of bow seasons, most bow seasons, not all I know, are underway, and there's a huge weather front coming through. And there hasn't been one like this for the entire season. Our season started September 6th in Kentucky, and we're up here in Canada. You know, when it's warm like this and boring, we always try to time this last Canada trip with boring weather, and this is just knocking on the doorstep. This is really coming right at the end of our trip. We're up here. Jen shot her first bear with a bow, which really proud of her, so that was completely awesome. We've been getting some limits of grouse, walleye, been eating walleye and grouse. I mean, it's awesome. Campfires and warm weather. We've had up to 80 degrees up here, so not traditional whitetail weather, but it's about to change. What I'm seeing is 80 degrees on 81 degrees in our area, southeast Minnesota on Saturday. So that'd be Saturday, is that the 4th, babe? Yeah, the 4th. And I think
so.
Yeah.
Today's the 2nd, right?
Believe so. Yeah, so 4th. My days are getting mixed up here, but now all we've had going on. But today's the 4th, and I would say western states, it's going to take place Saturday to Sunday. In our area, you see that high of 81 on Saturday, and then on Sunday, supposed to be 76 and rain, and then Monday, it's dropping all the way to 55. So that's that current drop. 21 degrees. That's a crazy drop, and we'll talk about what that means and why you should get out to the woods. And then when you look into Tuesday, so you're looking at a 21 degree temperature drop, and then it's getting down to 47 for a high on Tuesday. And so this is a major drop for this time of year, and when you look at it, it's almost a 30 degree temperature drop over a couple days. Now, as this storm progresses to the east, you guys out in Pennsylvania, this will be timing more for middle of the next week, towards the end of next week, New York. But it'll be a couple days behind us. Michigan, you'll be about a day behind us, somewhere around there. So your drop will be, you know, in that Tuesday time frame. But something really to pay attention to as it sweeps to the east. Some of you might have more of a major drop, and some will be less. But bottom line is, it doesn't matter if it's dropping 10 degrees in your area or it's dropping 30 over 2-3 days like it is for us. It'll put some whitetail on their feet, and we're already seeing that right now with some of the cold fronts. And you always look at that whitetail shift happening in September and October. We're down to Kentucky. What they count on for the opener, you're seeing these nice velvet bucks, and we count on for the opener is consistency. So these bucks are doing the same thing on feeding patterns every single day. Weather's about the same. It's 78, 82, 87, 83, 85. And then all of a sudden it drops to 70. That's a major drop. And so what ends up happening is throws the deer for a little loop. Kind of like, yeah, where do I go? It's colder. Let's go over to this range right here, our fall range. And so we see that. We see some of these early season cold fronts. You'll see all of a sudden a new buck move in and then moves back out. It's this yo-yo. And eventually that pole wins towards the end. And what I mean by that is bucks that are going to move and transition during this whitetail shift, which most of them do, they have a completely different range from summer to fall, then something like this cold front really pushes them. And when you get into early October like this is where it pushes them for good sometimes. There's always a push-pull, they'll always go back and forth, but sometimes you'll see them go into their fall range with a major cold front like this. We'll get glimpses of bucks we haven't seen yet this year, and we can't wait. We're waiting on some giants. We have some really good 4, 5, 6-year-old bucks in the area on the property, some that are pretty regular. Now, we might lose one of those. We might all of a sudden see it go. But the reason I want to be in the woods is because this is coinciding with the annual shift time, the end of September, early October, and we're going to see some new bucks. So some of those bucks we're waiting on, there's 3 of them. We expect to see 1 or 2 of them, and they're giants, and we can't wait. We have some good 4, 5, 6-year-olds. There's some 5 and a 6-year-old that we'd really like to hunt. Jen is after junior, grade 6. You hear a storm in the background right now. Jen, our walleye fishing in a little bit might be on delay for just a moment. just for a moment, I hope. But anyways, lots of storms taking place. But this is going to happen, and when you see that cold front like we are at night and we see some of the colder nights, we're seeing a shift start to take place, a push and pull. We have one we call short horse. We keep seeing them more and more. So the frequency was a month apart, and then a week apart, and then days apart. So we're starting to see those bucks. Junior, we went from not seeing them for a week or 10 days to all of a sudden we see them 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Crockett, Mikey. We start to see these bucks over and over again, and this is where they start to consistently show up and move around on the property. So we're going to be in the woods, and I hope you are going to be in the woods too. I'm looking at, I want to hunt, when to hunt, I want to hunt post cold front. Don't worry about pressure or anything like that. When this happens, there's going to be rain. We're showing rain on Sunday and Monday. Monday morning, Sunday, maybe a little bit Saturday afternoon. Taking place right now, up here, or some of it. You're not hunting during that. You're not hunting during the high winds. Now, moderate winds on the backside is great. It might not even be high pressure yet, but when you have major temperature change take place, that comes with extreme weather. Extreme weather patterns, rain, snow, sleet, hail, thunder, lightning, like what's going on in the background here. Those are all extremities. And deer feed 5 times in a 24-hour period. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt, but First Lite is having a huge sale on their best whitetail gear. It's the first time the core, the phase, the thermic has gone on sale up to 30% off. This right here is the core. It's the midweight one. I use this with a lot of different layerings. It'll get you through most whitetail seasons just about anywhere. But check it out. These have never been on sale like this before. I didn't want you guys to miss out on this. September 29th to October 5th. Now back to the video. And deer feed 5 times in a 24-hour period. Talk about this every year, but it's so important to refresh this. When fronts go through like this, they don't feed the same. They're not out in the open ag fields, they're not out in the open hardwoods, they're not in their traditional feeding areas all night, living high in the hog, safe and social. Instead, they're stressed out, they're burning energy because of stress, they're burning energy because of temperature drop, and they're burning energy because they're missing feeding opportunities and they're not replenishing that energy. So it's a 3-part whammy where they're losing all this energy and they need to put the feed bag on. So that's where it creates that opportunity. When this front comes through, they're going to be holed up for a day and a half on a major front like this with high winds. They're not going to move much. They're missing quality feeding. So when it breaks, they move. Doesn't matter what the pressure is. It doesn't matter in any way. If it's broken, the extremity of weather's gone down. Look at winds. Winds might be as high as 35 mile an hour gusts, 30 mile an hour gusts, 28, whatever it is. When those winds are down to 15 in a case like that, or half what they were, when that rain, thunder, lightning, sleet, hail has subsided and diminished, the drips are off the trees, doesn't have to be a high pressure, it just has to be dry on the backside, and that's when you want to sit. I'm focusing on the afternoon food source movement. So while like in Kentucky in the early season, a cold front can destroy that consistency. Bucks are going to change and go somewhere else for a few days. It's the opposite here. We're waiting for bucks to come on our property. We're waiting for bucks to move more during daylight because they're hungrier. We're waiting for bucks to move in a certain spot on public land. You might have a perfect spot on public land that you've had picked out. It's remote. You don't think anybody's out there. By all means, if it's a race to get to a certain buck and beat other people to the punch, that's different on public land. But if you have an area scouted, it's remote, this cold front is what puts these deer on their feet, and it's really worth taking an afternoon sit on a food source movement, something that's unpressured, and you're waiting for that buck to move during the daylight. He might just be, and this is where a lot of these cold front patterns, it doesn't show that the deer really puts on more miles during this cold front, especially these feeding cold fronts in early October. Instead, all they're doing is moving more during daylight. They're hungrier, so they want to get to their food more. It doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden moving miles and miles. It just means they're moving a lot earlier. They're moving to an adjacent property. The storm will push them to other areas, and when that takes place, afternoon food source movement is outstanding. I'm still not hunting mornings too much. In about 2 weeks, when you get into that October 20th, 15th, somewhere around there, we'll take some morning sits. If I have a buck scouted, I know he's coming into a small woodlot, a small bedding area where I can get into the backside. Sometimes these cold front mornings can be great. You get those mornings down in the 30s for the first time, even high 20s. Those bucks might be moving back to their beds later because it's safe and social at night. They're just hanging out more. They want to feed more. And then all of a sudden they're getting back to their bedding area a half hour after daylight. You slipped in before daylight. You wait for them to come back. There's sometimes an opportunity for that, but you never want to hunt that morning time frame and blow in more of a sure thing in the afternoon. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to focus on those sure things, those afternoon sits, and we can't wait. I hope you're ready, because this is major cold front number one. By far, it's one of the only cold fronts for the season. So this is a major cold front for this time of year. You really need to take advantage. One of my best bow bucks in Michigan was shot, I believe it was around October 10th, October 12th. It was maybe 2010, somewhere back there. It was going back a ways, enough to where I can't remember the exact date, maybe 15 years ago. But that was after 50-mile-an-hour winds, a 30, 40 degree temperature drop, and it was the first time in October, and it was early October, where there's frost, and I went in on a morning where it was in the high 20s. So first time of that freeze and frost, and you guys might get that too somewhere in Michigan. But pay attention to the weather, know where to sit, what to look for on the back side of that sit. Focus on afternoons and evenings. You'll be able to take advantage of this cold front like we are planning to do so.